sleep, I need new shit. I need peace, I need you win. I don't want the D, I need you shit.
Hi, and welcome back to my channel. So, I know a lot of you have requested for me to do a video on the practical exam. I may or may not be doing that because I'm thinking about putting that on my website and making people pay for it. You'll understand if you're an entrepreneur, you know, we have to have our different streams of income. But a lot of you have been asking and it's very popular. So I really might record that once I get all my materials together and put that on my website, probably for a small, reasonable fee. It's not going to be anything crazy. But that's the reason why I have not put it up yet, because I'm not sure if I want to do that. And I also have to get all the products. I have to pretty much act like I'm taking the test over, and I have to get everything and kind of redo it because I want it to be a good video, you know, where you really can look at it and understand what I'm doing. In order for me to do that, I have to have all the products. So this video is about my journey becoming an esthetician. I think it's very interesting. I think people would like to hear about it, and a lot of the time on my social media platforms and in person, people ask me about my journey. I think it's mostly because of my following on Instagram, but I need people to know that I'm not perfect. I may have a lot of followers. I may have, you know, a lot of people asking for services, and you know, people just see how you look a certain way on social media and think you're perfect. So I kind of want to bring some light to what really happened and like how I became an esthetician. And I just want to talk about my journey. I'm going to start from the beginning. If you're interested, this is a great video for you. If you're not, I mean, hey, subscribe to my other videos, and if you like those, you can check them out. I want to go ahead and get right into my journey in becoming an esthetician. Okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning. I was a contestant in the Miss Maryland USA pageant. I thought I might want to try modeling. I did modeling in college. I'm like, oh, well, let me try this out and see if I like it. So I knew nothing about anything about a pageant, okay? Pageants are expensive. You had to raise $995. It was your way of getting yourself out there to the community to show them you know, who you are, what you stand for, and get people to kind of, you know, sponsor you and just, you know, give you money to be able to win this and represent for your state or whatever. Okay, so you get a picture of what that is. So it was so expensive. I'm like, okay, well, when it comes to the makeup, you know, you could not hire another makeup artist. You had to learn how to do your own makeup, or you had to hire one of their makeup artists. In order to hire one of their makeup artists, you had to spend $150, which was separate from what you had to raise, the $995, okay? I raised like 800 something. I remember my mom gave me like 100, whatever. I had a little bit left. That was expensive. And so I'm like, let me learn how to do makeup. Like, I need to do my own makeup, okay? I'm not spending any more money. So I went to the MAC counter because everybody knows about the MAC counter. Like, that's just where you go. So I went there, and there was a guy, I forgot his name, but it was in Towson, Maryland. I'll never forget it. And he taught me, and I was like, ooh, okay, I spent some bread. I spent some money on products. Like, you know, MAC is expensive. And back then, I didn't have no discount because I wasn't a makeup artist yet. But we're getting there. This is how I became a makeup artist. So I basically learned how to do my own makeup, and for some reason I still to this day do not know how this came to my mind. I'm like, you know what, I think I might want to do other people's makeup. But I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, like, and I learned that from my parents. So I'm thinking maybe that's what drew me to thinking I could make money from it and make people look nice. And I'm like, okay. So after the pageant was over, you know, I didn't win or anything. I didn't even place. I'm like, I'm never doing that again. But you know, every experience you learn something. And so I went to Von Lee, which is in Pikesville, Maryland. They taught us the basics, taught you how about undertones and how to blend makeup. That's how I learned how to pretty much blend makeup to get the person's the person's perfect foundation match. We had to use palettes, and I learned how to mix to get those different tones for fair skin tones to deep skin tones. And so I did that for a month. That was in August of 2014. And I basically had to practice. Okay, if I can go back, you know what? I'm going to attach some photos of when I first started doing makeup and how it looked. Yeah. My mom was always my guinea pig. My mom was right there. She like always was there to be my guinea pig and let me practice on her. Eyeshadow was very difficult. Let me just tell you, matching people's different tones. It was just like getting all those products. It was so expensive. It took time. I had to buy things one by one, starting with the most cheapest uh, product that was also good looking, like black opal. I used black opal. I got all the different sticks and I melted them down into palettes, and I used those for foundation first. They were all like $9 a stick, so I just slowly built up my kit and bought the items with the people that I was doing the most. Like, it was mostly dark skinned people, so I started with, you know, those tones, and then buying more as I had to do different people. So I just practiced on family. I practiced on friends, and I just kept doing it. And I really want to quit sometimes because I'm like, man, I can't do eyeshadow. I can't blend. I don't know how to do this. And I just really started watching YouTube videos and just practicing. I mean, like, I can remember to this day, I was just like, man, this is ugly. This is not what I like. And then sometimes people still liked it. They're like, oh my God, my face. And I realized it's because nobody wears makeup. So, like, they see a little bit blended. You criticizing yourself and you like, this ugly, but everybody else is like, oh my God. So that encouraged me, and I kept trying, and I eventually pleased myself. I was like, oh, okay, you got something here, girl. You talented. Okay. It took me a minute, but I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I was interested in makeup. So I started doing weddings. I put myself on a website called Thumbtack. I'm still on there. I've been on there probably since, what, 2016 maybe, 2017. I put myself on there and I got a lot of gigs. You have to pay per lead, but that's a story for another day. I was doing makeup, and this was back in 2014. So I just kept over the years getting different clients and doing different things. And then one day, at the time, I was actually in school to be a marriage and family therapist because my bachelor's degree is in psychology. And so, you know, with the bachelor's degree in psychology, you pretty much have to get a master's degree to get any type of money. And so I'm like, I know I want to be a marriage and family therapist because of how I was raised with both of my parents, and I really want to help, you know, especially the Black community, because we have a lot of issues. It's still another story for another day. But I wanted to help our community. And so I had to really change my mindset. Like, dang, I can still help, but I can help in a different way. So I cried about that. I actually really cried. I remember, I'm like, I'm dropping out of graduate school. I decided to drop out of graduate school basically to further my makeup career. And so in the way I felt I needed to further my makeup career, I didn't know. And I'm like, well, let me look up how I'm supposed to do this. And esthetician came up. And I'm like, okay, what is that? I didn't know what that was. This was in 2017. And so I'm like, they have schools around here. There's a school called the Baltimore School of Massage. So let me check that out. And I just set up a time. I just wanted to go tour. I wasn't about to sign up the same day. But they are aggressive. Their salespeople are so aggressive. So I went there and they showed me around. They like, time is wasted for no one. You should sign up today. And at the time I was with my ex-husband. And I'm like, what do you think? He's like, man, I support you. Do what you gotta do. I'm like, all right. And so I signed up that day, August 2017. I will never forget it. And so I'm like, okay. I liked the school at first, probably like the first week, okay? I don't even know why, because at first it was very disorganized and I was just so excited. That had to be what it was. I was very excited. School was terrible. The curriculum was outdated. The management, you could tell that everybody was just about money. Best support I had was the people I was in class with, and my teacher was actually a really good teacher. So I started buying my products in school. While I was in school, I was really interested in waxing. So I had bought a student kit from Wax XXX. press.com. It was like a single wax pot. My mom let me practice on her. To this day, I get my mom Brazilian. So now I wax my mom faithfully, but it started with that student kit. And so I practiced on her. That was another thing in school when it came to Brazilian waxing. Our teacher showed us, but she wasn't really supposed to show us. And she draped one of the students, but another student went and said, I feel uncomfortable. So we wasn't supposed to be learning it, I guess. And that hindered a lot of people. That hindered me. But what I did was I just kept, like, I would buy PDFs if I saw about Brazilian waxing. I watched YouTube videos. At the time, it didn't have a lot, but now it's like pajamas everywhere on YouTube. That's weird. Back then, it was like a few videos, but it wasn't that many. And now, you know, I've gotten a lot better. I wax a lot better with practice. After just a year, I'm so proud of myself because waxing is very difficult. I went to school and then I graduated October 2018. At the time, I was working in a mental health outpatient facility. I was still doing my business on the side. And it was like, okay. So I got to a point where I felt like I have a lot of clientele, but I don't know if I should quit my job or like, what should I do? This is weird. I'm scared. You know, a job, you have a lot of security there. Every 2 weeks I was getting paid. I was working at the jail and I worked on a mental health floor, and they paid pretty good. Let's just say that for me to have a bachelor's degree, okay? So now as I'm working at the jail, I'm thinking, what should I do? Because clients are coming in. Like, I get a lot of my clients from Instagram. Thumbtack, I built clientele there for makeup, so I still have people coming from there for makeup, weddings and stuff like that. I just put myself on Wedding Wire, and people are finding me on Google. And then one day I put a post on Twitter, so it's like all these people are coming at me, and it's like, okay, am I gonna quit my job? Like, am I gonna really do it? So I made a plan, and I decided to move my business out of my home into a suite. So I decided to get a suite. A suite is when it's like Phoenix Salon Suites or the Cilantro Select Suites, where there's a whole bunch of different businesses inside of a building. And you basically run out of space to pay a weekly amount. Yes, weekly. Sometimes they have booth rent at other places like salons like that, but I just didn't feel like doing the whole hair salon thing. So I made a big decision. I quit my full-time job. God, that sounds crazy. I quit my full-time job in August of 2019, which is now. Pretty much it's October. So it's only been a few months, and I decided to go full-time being an esthetician, but actually not 100% full-time, because part-time I'm still working for a mental health job just in case. So that's pretty much my journey. I started off doing makeup, and then I built my clientele up there. I built up a social media presence on YouTube here, of course, and on Instagram. And a lot of people come to me based off seeing what I post on social media. So that's kind of what my journey was, but everybody's journey is going to be different, and I think that it's nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5 while you're trying to build yourself up. If you're trying to be an esthetician, take that money, save it, put it towards bills, and buy equipment. And if you're going to school, do not wait until you're graduating to start buying your stuff. If you have money, you have a 9-to-5, take that money and buy equipment while you're in school and practice while you're in school, because I feel like that was a big part of why I'm confident in doing certain services now, is because I was practicing. I wasn't charging nobody nothing. I was practicing. So that's pretty much my journey. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And like I said about that practical exam video, it may be going up on my website, but if not, I'll put it on here. Either way, stay tuned and hit the subscribe button. I'll see y'all later.